If this video found its way to you, it's because your higher self wants to tell you to quit being so damn hard on yourself and so judgmental of yourself and see how much of a badass you really are. And here is the message in the form of a poem. No, you're not lazy. You're simply uninspired. No, you're not crazy. You're simply perceiving higher. No, you're not too sensitive. Your psychic gifts are simply fire. No, your manifestations aren't playing hard to get. You just need to be a vibrational match to what it is that you desire. It's so easy to be our own biggest critic. And the truth is it's easy to be blindsided by our own thoughts and the way that we talk to ourselves because we're not actually hearing it vocally. It's our self-talk, it's our inner dialogue. And when it's kept within us, it's almost like we can't personify it. We can't place it outside of us to get a different perspective. So the truth is, if I shared any of those things and if they resonated, it's because you are a highly creative being. You're just not inspired. It's because you're tapped into higher dimensions and learning how to navigate the energetic realms into this physical realm, which is difficult. You can't see all of the things that you're perceiving, all of the things that you're tapping into, all of the things that you're feeling. And so a lot of times our psychic abilities are what make us feel like we're psycho. And there's a fine line and phase in our journey, in our spiritual awakening, of grounding in this energy into our body, into our somatic experience, because it's easy to tune into these other fields and not really know what's going on because there's so many timelines, so many dimensions, so many beings that can be communicating with you, that because you can't see it with your physical eyes and because perhaps your third eye isn't fully active and open to other dimensions beyond this dimension yet, which, by the way, is always on point depending on what we can comprehend and handle at that time. Our higher self will never let us exceed beyond what we're ready to see. And if there are times where we see into the unseen realms and it may seem slightly traumatic, there was a lesson within that your soul wanted to learn. But beyond that, we will never perceive more than what we can handle. If we're not seeing beyond, so to speak, yet, that's okay. Guess what? We're feeling it. We are learning how to translate it through our emotions, through our intuition, through our gut feelings. And no, you're not too sensitive. You're just psychic as fuck. And the thing is we weren't trained in these things. A lot of times our sensitivities are turned off or shamed or not welcomed or dismissed. Or if we were to ever have said anything when we were a child and our parents didn't understand it, or it freaked them out, or they just didn't have the vocabulary for it, or perhaps even a religious background. Sometimes if you grew up in a religious family and you did have psychic gifts, that may have been stunted because a lot of religions stunt this energy as not of the light, so to speak. It's only God that you can talk to, and I don't know all the reasons. I just don't. I didn't buy into the religions when I was a youngster. I just didn't. But yeah, also, your manifestations aren't playing hard to get. There's no soul contracts that you have to wait for. There's no karma that you have to continue completing. You can literally make a choice, make a decision that you are done with that timeline, that you are done with that lesson, that you are done with that delay of that desire that you want into your physical reality. And you can collapse time and say, this is mine. Collapse time, this is mine. There's a new mantra for you. Collapse time. This is mine. Seriously, take charge of the things that you want in your life. Believe that you are worthy, that you are deserving, that you get to have what you want simply because you want it. You get to have everything that you desire because you are a creator and you came to this earth plane to experience your abilities of what that even means. And that's becoming conscious within your mind, within your thoughts, within your emotions, within your energy field, because all of them are creating the fabric of reality that you are experiencing moment by moment. And that's the other beautiful thing within reality itself, is it's malleable, it's moldable. Nothing is stagnant, everything is moving, everything is vibrating. So that means that you can begin to change your physical reality through changing the way that you perceive it. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I believe that's Wayne Dyer. That's so true, and it's so wild how much we can actually change the structure of reality by changing our perception. And the thing that's amazing about that is that we are at free will and that we are at choice to be able to say, you know what? I've had this belief. It served me / didn't really serve me at all. It served me in the sense that it helped me learn the lesson and build the character that I needed to be, and that created who I am today. And that version of me is complete. That timeline of me is complete. That level of consciousness of me is complete. That story that I kept on repeat is complete. We get to choose moment by moment the intention of our life, the intention of our existence. And if you're a dreamer, if you're a visionary, that can feel extremely difficult because we see the grand pictures, we see the grand visions, and oftentimes we're ahead of our time in the sense that seers see before things happen. It's a prophetic vision that you have for your life, for those around you, for the collective, for society, for this incarnation and all that you wanted to come here and experience. And with that, we can still mold and shape reality moment by moment to create those things. And the thing within that, to release any pressure on having these big dreams and not knowing how you're going to create them all, not knowing how you're going to manifest them all, it actually becomes so simple when you just align with the law of authenticity and decide that you are going to be your full authentic self in everything you do, in what you choose for your life, in how you show up, aligning with your highest values and then acting on them. Acting as the version of you that already has everything you desire. The only thing that needs to change is your concept of self, is the level of consciousness in which you are holding and obtaining. See your life as a level of consciousness that has been playing out like a video game. And as soon as you become aware of the level at which you've been playing and can decide if it's something you want to continue create or not, you can then make the conscious choice to think differently, to act differently, to imagine differently. And through that, that's where the shifts begin to happen. And it can be so fast because if we're in a good feeling state, if we're in joy, if we're in passion, if we're in play, we're in alignment with our decisions and choices moment to moment to moment based on how I want to feel, which I want to feel good. I want to feel my best. I want to feel elevated. That is the energy that taps us in with source, that taps us in with our higher self, and we begin living by the flow state. And through the flow state, more downloads come, more insights come, more clarity comes. The map to our next steps are given to us. It's just laid out in front of us as we take the next best aligned action. And so that's where it can become very fascinating because we're so ingrained in our masculine structure of thinking And this is going to give you the opportunity to tune into how you're actually feeling. So this could either be more of a challenge for some of you that may not have had the opportunity to feel and express your emotions in a safe way. Oftentimes that is men, that is the masculine in society, because there's been a collective conditioning that boys don't cry and that girls don't get angry. And so for women, a lot for them is owning their sacred rage, owning their energy of their power and rage in a way that they never got to release in the ways that men did, which was usually very physically. And women, it's all mental, it's all the voice, which is so fascinating because that right there, when it comes from a place of judgment or ridicule or projecting insecurity, that then creates more wounds. Whereas if we're to actually create physical wounds, so to speak, or get something out somatically, it's done because it's processed out of our cells. It's no longer a new story that's now starting up in our brain or an old recurring story that's playing on repeat. Your higher self wants you to see how incredible you are, that you're not lazy, you're just uninspired. Find the things that bring you joy, no matter how small they are, no matter how simple they are. We've become so focused on only doing things if we think it can make us money or have some form of a direct impact on our financial situation. Or maybe that's me, or maybe that's just mostly entrepreneurs. We're always thinking of how we can turn our creative pursuits into profit. Or maybe you're just creative in a way that relaxes you, but never thought that it could be something that's profitable. Neither matters. All that matters is that you're in the joy of creativity, that you're doing things that put you in a meditative, high vibrational state, that make you feel like you lose all sense of thought and you start to feel. And for a lot of you, that can be incorporating music, because music touches the body and it reworks the subconscious mind in a way that constantly speaking things or intellectualizing things can't. You're not crazy. You're just perceiving higher energies, higher wisdom, higher attunements, higher knowledge, higher divine energy. The veils are thinning, and as we're raising our vibrations, we're tuning into new radio stations. And those radio stations we haven't heard before, and we're like, okay, like, I like you, but I don't really know what you are yet. So it's like learning a language. It's like learning to love a new genre of music. You're like, I feel this, but like, how do I move to this? So it's about allowing yourself to be explorative in all of your psychic abilities, just really activating and coming online. And that's the thing with being sensitive, is we've never been too sensitive. We've just been tapped into things that most people couldn't perceive. Whether you were born empathic or it was a childhood experience that you had to be on alert for and be able to perceive potential dangers, however you gained this skill of sensitivity, or however you embodied this experience of being in tune with the energy around you, it is powerful, because you are able to perceive so many different things that others can't see, which allow you to have a different context for reality, which allows ideas to expand, which allows inventions to happen, which allows new creations to unfold, which allows this polarity of society and this dualistic reality to enter more of a neutrality. So your sensitivity gives you a higher perspective that most others couldn't see. And instead of protecting yourself and blocking yourself from the world because it's too overstimulating, one, you gotta find your right environments. Learn yourself and where you're at in your cycle if you're female, and what you can handle and what your capacity is, and begin to be very intentional with where you're placing your energy. Oftentimes, we've just been so accustomed to people pleasing or thinking that we don't want to let someone down instead of honoring our no as sacred. And so if that is you, if that resonates with you, or if that's an old part of you that you're wanting to transmute and transform, something you can do is every time someone asks you to do something, your first initial response is always no. And you're first automatically giving yourself permission to have time and space to sit with something, to see if it actually resonates with you, to see if it's actually true for you, and to see if it's actually going to add to the dreams that you are here to build and create and manifest and experience for yourself, or if it's actually taking away from those dreams. And that's how you can begin to tune in and know if it's something that will energize you or will deplete you. So when someone asks you, you can initially say, no, not right now, but let me get back to you. But you get to honor your no. And the beautiful thing is you actually help teach others how to honor their no. And we help each other get out of this destructive people pleasing that we've learned through society, especially women. Women are chronic people pleasers because they're the nurturers and they don't know how and they don't know how to say no because they just do all the things for everyone because they have so much love to give. They have so much tenderness to give, and this is also true for anyone, but women definitely have this pattern and program to release. And yeah, just remembering that your manifestations can happen at the snap of a finger if you have no resistance to them, and if you are focused on what you do want and not what you don't want. It's so easy to focus on don't want because it's very strong in our reality. It's usually triggering, and it's usually it's just in our face. Don't want is just in our face. When we experience something that we don't want to experience, we think about it and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe that person did this, or wow, that reaction, or what have you. If it's something that's out of alignment with us, it's a sharp contrast to our experience. But the key with manifestation is observation. Observe, don't absorb. Look at it, observe it from the higher perspective for what it is, and then make a conscious choice of how you're going to respond. And this is releasing the paradigm and the trap of reacting, which also is super easy to do. But we're here for character development. We're here for our highest selves. We're here to become more self-aware moment to moment and to make it fun, to make it a game. So yeah, I hope this message finds you well, and I just really felt excited to share this poem that literally just came to me about 10 minutes before. I like rhyming a lot, in case you can't tell. It's very fun for me, and I'm here to help remind you, and your higher self and the collective consciousness is here to remind you of how amazing you are, and how much you are needed, and how much you are loved, and how much you are seen, and how much you just get to be you. You just get to be you. You just get to be you, letting go of the judgments, letting go of the perceptions, choosing into your highest identity, and having a fun fucking life. That's what we're here for. I love you.